It's going live. And I believe we are all set up. All right. Just gonna wait for another couple of seconds. Just for good luck. I don't know. And we'll get started. We're doing sealed because it's fun. I've never done sealed because I know it's always been a bit too not quite worth it. But this one is free, so here we are. And start. Alright, let's see here. So in terms of rares, we have Assemble the Legion, which is very slow. Dragonlord Ojitai, it seems pretty good. Zero Bell Striker doesn't really seem like it's great. Hornet Nest is mid. Mizium Mortars. I mean, that's a one-sided Wrath, so that's something. Pelucanos World Eater is a big fighty thing. It's just a 4-mana 5/5 as well. And Niblis of Frost is instant sorcery stuff. So the first thing that I see, which is obvious, is I could go red and white and have 3 rares. Or I could go blue-white and have 2 rares, which are better. So I guess we will look at the rest of the card pool to figure out. Alright, so what do we have in white? We have a stacks piece. Alright, so blue we have Essence Scatter, which seems fine. Do like a blue-white control deck type of thing. Oath of Jace is like a bad brainstorm. We have 2 Treasure Cruises. So that's something. And of course we have our Niblis Frost. So that's a Gates payoff thing. Do we have Gates in here anywhere? Yes, we've got a couple Gates. Not like to an exciting degree, but we do have some. So that's something to consider. We have Darksteel Ingot. There's Ramp, if that's the thing we want. Alright, so let's try to build like... Where is Ojitai? Alright, so Dragonlord Ojitai is just going to be a big flying guy that gives a ton of value. And so we want things to... We would like lots of interaction and stuff to go with that. So let's just try putting like all of our good blue-white cards in. Treasure Cruise is probably not a good blue-white card. Although Oath of Jace maybe makes it work. And Philagi Archaeologists. I could see that being a thing. So to get stuff in the yard for Treasure Cruise, we have 1 Archaeologist, 1 Oath of Jace. And that's pretty much it. So if we're going Gates, what gates do we have that are like at least one of our colors? Do we have any blue-white gates? No. We don't have any blue-white gates, so that's probably out. We could go... we have a lot of... We have those two. So we could, like, do a black splash for Dinrova Horror. Maybe more black stuff. This is very greedy. I guess we probably want a dark steel ingot for color fixing there. And then that would get us... That would help with our milling for Treasure Cruise plan. This could be Gates stuff. This would help with milling for Treasure Cruise. And I guess if we're going all in on mill, we may as well have Gurmag Angler. Alright, so that's like the blue stuff and the black stuff, maybe. As far as white stuff goes, we have Ardenvale Tactician is probably fine. Silk Wrap is good removal. I mean, it's not great removal, but it's something. I won't complain about Enchantment Hate and just like a random damage spell. That's also a land, obviously, pretty good. Alright. So I'm looking at it, and the white stuff kind of sucks. Like, we do not have really any removal or interaction. I don't know, actually. The white stuff might be fine. So... I'm very much not familiar with Sealed and how Sealed works. I understand it is generally weaker than Draft, though. But still. So for Niblis of Frost, we want lots of instants and sorceries. And we don't really. We have a lot of enchantments and creatures. We have Treasure Cruise, so that's fun. This is still a 4-mana 3/3 flying that will sometimes have prowess triggers, so it's probably not the worst anyway. Alright, and we only have 2 guild gates in our guild summit. Ubulsar Gatekeepers, Opalate Gatekeepers decks, so let's throw in like a Selesnya Guild Gate and a Simic Guild Gate. So that's 4 gates, all of which add at least 1 color, some of which add 2 useful colors. Alright. In terms of removal, we have Gatekeepers, which are unreliable, Dinrova Horror, which is very expensive. We have that, which is just tempo, really. We have Silk Wrap. We need more interaction, I think. Like, we are playing 3 colors. We need more interaction. Palaka Predation is obviously like taking the spot of a land. So we can just play that easily. I guess Devour Flesh is a removal spell. Essence Scatter is kind of a removal spell if you squint. Okay. What is this? Okay, so that seems very bad. None of this is usable, really. I guess Pilgrim's Eye could be color fixing, or Evolving Wilds is definitely good. We should take both of those because we are a 3-color deck. Celundi Visions is, again, it's just like a tap land that can also be a spell. May as well have all of those that are in color. Alright. So we have 42 cards now. Which of these are the worst? We have 4 guild gates. We need to have half of the guild gates in our entire deck for the gate stuff to work. Is that true? We can add Boros guild gates to get up to 6 guild gates, and then we can probably find 2, but that's a lot of tap lands for 2 cards. Yeah, I think I'm off the guild gates plan. Alright, we're cutting guild gates. We just don't have enough of them or enough payoff to be worth it. So there's also a guild summit in there, which we need to get rid of. And now we're back down to 39 cards. So we need to find cards to play again. I guess some big finishers would be fine. Kraken taps stuff permanently. Maybe. Do we have big white payoffs? Not really. And what black payoffs do we have? Not really anything. So yeah, I think Shipwreck Kraken is actually going to be pretty good. And then I think we throw back like that guy. I mean, you could probably get rid of an enchantment at some point. But it is just like a 2-mana 2/2, which seems fine in a way. Let's just cut the Oath of Jace. I mean, it's probably just much worse than like all of the rest of the stuff. I don't know. I think we're gonna try this 3-color sealed deck. Is 3-color extraordinarily greedy? Probably. Are we going to do it anyway? I don't know. I mean, we have 2 Evolving Wilds, 2 Guild Gates. That's not the worst ever. Okay, I mean, this isn't great, but we do have a Celundi Vision, which is going to be a spell. Opponent is playing blue-black and Basilica Screecher. Alright, do I hold up Essence Scatter, or do I just play a 1/2? I think I'm just going to play a 1/2. Ah, yes. The classic blue-black lands mill 3 white cards. Nothing to see here. Perfect mana, by the way. Play a Plains next turn. Just how you drew it up. Opponent got Gateway Plaza, so they could be multicolor as well. And they're doing Aqueous Form Bogles, basically. That's fun. So that can't be blocked anymore. this an instant? Yes, it is. So I will just pass the turn and hold up Essence Scatter. Bident of Thassa. Alright. They're definitely doing the thing. They're going to be drawing cards and scrying and hitting me for a single unblockable damage each turn. So this gets instant or sorceries. I don't know how many of those I have. Alright, easy. Got the removal spell. So we just fire that off. Sacrifice a creature of your choice. You can choose any creature, really. And play a Guildgate. And now we're the one attacking for 1. It's a 21 turn clock. Okay, opponent has returned Centaur. Unsurprising. They're milling me. Secretly could be very good if I draw a Treasure Cruise. Okay, just a Niblis of Frost. We're just going to play out our 3/3 flyer and obviously not attack. Although we could probably get something cool back. No, we have no creatures in the graveyard somehow. Alright, they have another aqueous form. They are really on this whole unblockable thing. So next turn I can play the Shipbreaker Kraken if I draw a land, or I could play my own Centaur. Alright. They are archaeologisting the Treasure Cruise. See this? This is just how you drew it up. You should not have milled me with that. 6, 7. I love Treasure Cruise. I will always cast Treasure Cruise if given the opportunity to do so. Alright, and that's 3 or less. So I guess I will just play an Archaeologist and mill myself. And I unfortunately bricked. That's fine. I can still attack for 5 this turn. So I have Kabira Takedown, which is only dealing 3, and they have 2 4 toughness creatures, which is kind of awkward. And also, I had to use both of my black mana. So, or both of my blue mana, rather, so I can't hold up Essence Scatter this turn. But yeah, they're only hitting for 2. And they are drawing a card, but I'm still a Treasure Cruise up on them. So it's not horribly worrying. Alright. They got my Niblis of Frost. It's obviously very good for them. It probably would have just won me the game if they hadn't answered it. But I have a Dragonlord Ojutai. Dragonlord Ojutai, pretty good. Hexproof. And draws me some cards. So yeah. I think Kabira Takedown is going to be a land now. And I'm just going to attack for 2. Ah, they got me. Alright, that's actually fine. because that lets me get a creature back from my graveyard. And I will get Enchantment Hate for their Bident. I think we're at a pretty good spot here. They only have 3 cards in hand. I have an answer for their Bident. I have Dragonlord Ojutai in play. Possessed Scob is going to get them an Obnyx's Cruelty, which won't currently kill my Ojutai. So unfortunately, it will kill my Ojutai when I attack with it, but I think I have to, pretty much. Alright, so now I think we obviously play a land. So I could Silk Wrap something. So I think I would just want to get rid of the Bident, which that's when it deals combat damage. I will attack with Ojutai, deal 5 and draw a card, and the card I will draw is Treasure Cruise, which seems pretty good. Treasure Cruise would not be super efficient right now, so I am just gonna pass the turn. Unfortunately lose Ojutai, but it is what it is. So next turn I can play the Dinrova Horror and get rid of their Centaur, and then they will have to actually deal with combat like a normal person. Yep. Alright, you can declare your attacks. Yep. And I will blow up your Bident. So yeah, I take 2, but I don't care. So I actually only have 9 cards, which is not a lot. But fortunately, I have a ton of big haymakers here. So that, actually, that could mill me. Yeah, I think I still have to. So the unfortunate thing is that I am just sort of dirtling, and they very well might mill me out before I can get around to killing them. I can't afford to cast this Treasure Cruise at this point, unfortunately. I would draw basically the rest of my deck, which is not good. So I just need to be casting big guys and hope that that's enough. I should have attacked first. Now they have the info. Yeah, probably get rid of the 1/4. It's just a little bit harder to punch through. Actually, I could have exiled it with Silk Wrap. Another mistake. That's a 5/5. Murmuring Mystic and Master of Waves. Making a bunch of 2/1s. Alright. I am not sure how exactly I'm going to kill them in 3 turns. But I think it involves the Gurmag Angler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And a Silk Wrap on a random thing. And I guess tap. No, that doesn't really do anything. I guess a Return Centaur, obviously milling them. They have their own Gurmag Angler, of course. And I attack with my 6/6. And get through most of the rest of their board. Yep. Alright. I'm pretty sure I've lost. They just need like any blockers. They don't really have good trample or evasion. So yeah, they can probably find something that wins them the game here. Unfortunately, my self-mill might be a bit too aggressive, but then they also targeted me with 2 Return Centaurs, so against like an average deck, I would be +8 cards here, which I probably would win. So I think the self-mill isn't too much, probably. Like in a vacuum, I think it's probably fine. Yeah. Another Shipbreaker Kraken, which actually, wait, 7 lands. I need 8 to make it monstrous. And the Guild Gate is a tap land. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I can't deal 11 damage with only being able to tap 2 things. So unfortunately, just a bit short. We were close though. I think the deck theory is fine. It's just like our opponent milled us for 8, and we milled ourselves for like 15 or something. And cast a Treasure Cruise. Alright, so we have perfect mana. We have 2 removal spells, and I guess Gurmag Angler will hopefully be able to come down relatively cheaply. Hello. They have Sanitarium Skeleton. I'm going to Evolving Wilds and probably pick up a second blue, because I have some pretty good double blue cards, and I think I only have like 1 double white card. So I'm not really scared by Sanitarium Skeleton. I'm going to hold on to my removal. It might be right to Silk Wrap it so that Devour Flash... Yeah, okay. I mean, Pilgrim's Eye is not a threatening removal target either. So unfortunately, Devour Flash is kind of going to just be a dead card in this matchup. Which is what it is. Kabir Takedown, almost certainly a spell this game. I have plenty of lands. Alright. So that is a 2/1 Vigilance with Afterlife. Okay, and that's the scary threat, I think. So that's going to get big relatively quickly. But I have a Darksteel Ingot. So I can play out the Darksteel Ingot. And then Silk Wrap the hero. And probably play Gurmag Angler. 7 mana, I have 5/6, so the turn after next, I guess. Oh, Dragonlord Ojutai is fantastic. It's a blocker and also a creature, so I can Kabira take down something. Alright, this attack seems kinda bad for them. I guess I'll block the 2 power. Alright, so no combat tricks. So obviously they get a flyer off of that, but Ojutai blocks flyers anyway. And I just kind of want to save some life. Alright, so that one has Death Touch. That's an artifact. That destroys enchantments. Unfortunate. So I will play the Keening Apparition. So now I have 2 creatures, which means I can Kabira take down that, deal 2 damage to it. And now I will attack with Dragonlord Ojutai to draw an additional card, which I probably could have done earlier. I'll take a 2/3 flyer there. I could tap their stuff at any point now. Good old Darksteel Ingot. Alright, so that doesn't kill Ojutai, which is pretty cool. So if they want to exploit here, yeah, that's fine. So that's just forcing the trade of my enchantment removal for their enchantment, which I do not care about. I think I'm going to Devour Flesh here, just honestly to get an additional card in my graveyard, and I'm going to have to cast it at some point. It's not getting any better, really. So yeah, they're going to get rid of Sanitarium Skeleton. Alright, so now I can even crack an Evolving Wilds to get even another card in my graveyard. And I'll take more white. And I will attack here because Ojutai is good. Yeah, this seems much better. So I can bounce their 1/1 and force them to discard their last card, which was a Silkrap. Not terrible. Sanitarium Skeleton is back. So at this point, I just Gurmag Angler, and honestly, I just auto pay. I use my graveyard for things sometimes, and like I can auto pay, and I'm not casting this turn probably. So yeah, that kills their 3/3 and draws me another card, which can be another giant creature. Dragonlord Ojutai, confirmed pretty good. So now I can tap down their 2 blockers and kill them. Yep. So yeah. The first game, we had a Dragonlord Ojutai connect once and then it died, and it was kind of mediocre. This time it connected like 3 times and was great. Alright. We get a Leyline of Transformation, so that's fun. Alright, so we have our colors. We have decent enough early creatures. This is a keep. This Evolving Wilds is just going to get a swamp on turn 1. The 3-color mana base has been pretty good for us, at least so far. It's never really been an issue. Just Evolving Wilds, fetch a swamp, keep it simple. This Ardenvale Tactician will, I guess, be pretty hard to cast if I don't draw something soon, but who knows. Alright. Give me a swamp. Alright, that's fine. I will play that later. I'm going to lead on the Archaeologist and do some self-mill. Sure, I'll take a card. Better than a 1/4. So I think there's a good chance I just cast that next turn. I did mill my Dinrova Horror, which is unfortunate. Alright, so yeah, I think I just take one of their big scary bombs. Treasure Cruise, District Guide, Honored Hydra. I'm going to assume that at some point they're going to be able to get to Delve, and I just don't want them drawing a billion cards, so I'm going to take the Treasure Cruise. So hold up. They have green mana? White, blue, black, green. That is extraordinarily ambitious. I guess they're counting on their green to fix them, but it didn't pay off this time, that's for sure. I will play a 2/2, just like them, and a tap land. Alright, so they have just Azorius Charm to draw a card, and considered to draw a card. Alright, so I guess they do have decent selection, so they're probably getting unlucky to be missing green, but yeah, especially at that point, that's just unfortunate for them. So I will make sure to... I think I just play a 2/3 flyer here, or I could... I guess I can Silk Wrap their 2/2, and they can sack it in response if they're bad, but they shouldn't do that. But they did. So yeah, if they hadn't done that, then they would have had the opportunity to maybe get it back at some point. So that was just a mistake. I mean, maybe they think I have like enchantment synergies. I don't. Another Azorius Charm to draw a card. Surely they'll hit a land. No, okay, yeah. That's... I mean, okay, they're playing a 4-color deck, but also they drew a bunch of extra cards and missed land drops. So you kind of feel bad, but it's also kind of justice. Like, don't play that many colors. It's a bad idea. Kellen is fine. Alright. This is another perfect mana. The hand itself isn't great. I only have one white source, so this is potentially a problem unless I draw into it. So I'm just going to lead on the tap land and probably hold up Essence Scatter. I'll play a white land so that if I draw another one, I can play a 2/3 flyer on 3, but I'm not expecting to. So they're also a 3-color. Alright, I get a Butler. I will play a Butler. So there's another Butler in the graveyard, so if they kill the Butler, I get another Butler, so that's very funny. Alright, and they're just passing. Mana curve is important. Opponent passing on turn 3 is good for me. Iroas, God of Victory. Legendary enchantment, devotion to red and white, gives stuff menace, and makes attacking safe. Okay. Well, I'm just going to hopefully not let them get a bunch of devotion to red and white. So I will hold up Essence Scatter, and maybe Kabira Takedown. And next turn I can play Ardenvale Tactician as a flyer, increase my clock, and still have Essence Scatter up. Alright. What do you have? 5 mana, Mardu, and you haven't done hardly anything so far. Which means you probably have a lot of big expensive stuff. Wait, that's target permanent. That's not non-land permanent. Noted. Alright. So they have a Gideon.
I walk a righteous path.
Did they just not activate? They could have made a 2/2. They could have made a 2/2. And they just decided not to. Okay. If you say so. So I will attack the Gideon in the hopes that maybe sometime I will kill it. So I have 3 cards in the graveyard. That's it. So that I would have to tap out to Treasure Cruise. Instead, I'm going to play my Tactician so that I can threaten to kill the Gideon a little bit better. Alright, they have removal. What they don't have is enough devotion to red and white. Just getting a tap land out of their deck. And what are you going to do with your last 3 mana? Are you going to activate your Gideon? Yes.
I am blessed by the gods.
Alright, so this is pretty scary. I can bounce it if I want. And they are not doing anything with their mana. So I think for tempo purposes I will bounce their Gideon back to their hand, just so I'm not taking 5 a turn. Goodbye. And we have to discard a card. What cards do you have that you haven't been playing? Auras? Okay. I guess that makes sense. Didn't have any real creatures to attach them to. And as expected, they are just recasting Gideon.
Gideon Jura, at your service.
So I should be able to kill the Gideon with my Horror and my Butler. So yeah.
Let me turn the tide to battle.
I will play a land. And attack Gideon for 5. That's that problem dealt with.
Not again.
And now I think I will Salundi Visions and grab a Palaka Predation, which I will also cast and hopefully take something juicy. Alright, what is all this? So that is kind of interesting. That is not a huge deal for me. And that's 3 mana, 3/2, which gives them devotion for the correct colors. So I'm going to take that, I guess. So they can have a 4 mana 2/2 intimidate if they want. I have black creatures, so that's not doing much. And so next turn I can treasure cruise for 2 mana and just go from there. So yeah, you're gonna have a 4 mana 2/2 menace. I guess menace intimidate is a thing, but I'm also not under any real pressure. They don't have anywhere near enough devotion for that to be a threat. Alright, so now I can play a swamp. And goodbye graveyard. Please give me 3 cards. Thank you very much. Gurmag Angler, perfect time to draw it, right after I get rid of my entire graveyard. Alright. I will just kill that. And I will attack for 5. And probably at this point... I'll hold up Essence Scatter, and next turn I can return Centaur Gurmag Angler. And still have Essence Scatter up. Seems pretty good. They just drew a land. That does nothing for them. That does nothing for them. This game seems super over. I'm loving my deck so far. The loss so far has been in a Pseudo Mirror. Alright, I can play an Evolving Wilds, crack it, to just grab another swamp, because it's the color I'm shortest on. And Centaur, mill myself, still have plenty of cards in library. Decking won't be a concern this game. And now I can Gurmag Angler, pay 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I do want to leave the Niblis in the graveyard because it is my best creature. So if the Butler dies, I can get it back. And I can attack you for 5, and I believe you're dead next turn. Yes, you're dead next turn by a fair bit. They keep hovering over their Iroas as if that's going to do something for them, but unfortunately for them, it is not. Alright, they are adding a bunch of mana. What are they adding all this mana for? Apparently nothing. Apparently they just tapped all of the mana for fun, and now they are dead. Alright, so far my experience with Sealed is that you build a good Esper deck and then you attack people. And we get a card style. Cool. Alright, we have, once again, the mana just works. This can get a swamp. And we have 2 removal spells, an 0/3 creature, and a treasure cruise. Opponent is thinking. His opponent still here? They might have left. So, we're just going to hang out for a bit while the game figures out that they've left. Or they could return. So yeah, this deck has felt pretty good so far. It's got not the best removal in the world, but it's got some removal at least. Treasure Cruise has felt incredible every time. Like, it's basically never been a huge concern. Maybe I've had to pay like 2 or 3 mana for it, but it's still great. And the top end threats are top end threats that work pretty well. So overall, nothing to complain about there. Opponent is just now getting the rope. Alright, so the rope will come down, then... Alright, it has given us the turn, which is rather unfortunate, because they are still definitely just gone. So I'm going to grab a swamp. And... oh, they're back. Looks like they have returned. Yes, they have returned. And they're playing red. Okay. Second Silk Wrap seems pretty good against a mono red player. So I'm just going to try to remove all of their threats. And they're being slow again. Did they really come back just long enough? Or are they... So this is fun. Red decks are supposed to be fast. Alright, they've played a Gruul Guildgate, which is fine. I will play an 0-3 blocker. And I didn't get anything fun off of it. But now it's a 1-4 blocker. More importantly, Graveyard is pretty stocked for Treasure Cruise. So we're going to have a good time in a turn or two. Alright, I am going to... I think I will Silk Wrap it again because this is... because it's not guaranteed that they're going to be playing 3 mana value spells from now on. So, alright. They can have a Crawl Harpooner. I don't have anything with flying right now, so it's fine. That's just a 2 mana 3/2 pretty much. Alright. And they have cast a Dragon Mantle on it. So it's not like, you know, they're getting super blown out by this Devour Flesh, but it's definitely not good for them. Definitely not good for them that I have a billion removal spells. Alright. So I will lead on Devour Flesh, get rid of your creature. And then I will use that as an additional card in Graveyard for Treasure Cruise. And I will attack you for 1. Block of Predation is going to be useful just to see what exactly they're trying to do. And Shipbreaker Kraken should close the game out. Alright, they just did something silly for no reason. Alright, so this turn I think I will start by looking at their hand and seeing if they have anything super scary in it. They're playing a super aggressive deck, so this might even miss, but they'll probably hit something. Alright, so they have a fight spell, basically, a shock, basically, and something that they don't have anymore. Alright, we're in pretty good shape. The fight spell will deal with something at some point. Okay, yeah, they can just Wild Slash that. And I will take this block, and they're going to have to use a combat trick to win. Possibly another Rimrock Knight? No, they're just trading 2 for 1, which is great for me. And now we play our 6/6. So they are pretty much like this turn to do something cool. Alright, they have played 2 creatures. I'm going to attack. And this Kabir Takedown is probably actually a land, because I need 8 lands for the monstrosity, which is a very good ability. So they're wondering if they want to chump. If they chump here, that's great for me. I pretty much win on the spot if they chump. Like, they're not going to be coming back from that, basically. So really what they need is, like, they need a way to deal with this Kraken and also have a clock. And they're thinking. Are they thinking or are they roping? I want to say probably roping. I'm not sure what would cause you to want to rope in an event with basically 0 stakes, but here we are. Alright, there's another timeout. So yeah, almost done with this particular rope. And they're gonna come back to click through it probably. Nope, they let it go all the way. Okay. And I will play a tap land. And they are still gone. Alright. So unfortunately, not much interesting content to be had while they are either gone or salty or both. Okay, they have a creature. I'm going to counter it. Didn't read what that creature did, but it's probably something. Yeah, tutors for an aura. That's definitely a thing. So yeah, they are definitely just salty, unfortunately. Alright, they are attacking with both, or not. Alright, so this is probably minorly wrong. Because Shipbreaker Kraken can tap down both of these guys. So yeah, I'm going to activate Monstrosity 4. And those two are tapped down forever. And I can swing for 10. So the downside of this is if they play another blocker, then I've already used it. So, I mean, I don't think I'm losing this game by any, like... I don't think there's any draw they could have that wins them. But that was probably a mistake. Yeah, they can do that, whatever. And they concede. Alright. Another win for this deck. Honestly, this deck has felt kind of cracked. Like, we've lost once, we've won a whole bunch. Alright, so the mana is awkward here. We have to get to Darksteel Ingot before we can cast Devour Flesh. We're going to keep this. Alright, so they have Lumbering Falls, which is a land. 3-color. Alright, so that's not very scary to me. But I guess I will kill it anyway, because I drew a black source, and my mana is perfect as always. Alright, and Darksteel Ingot. Now my mana is just going to be fine forever. 3-color deck with no mana troubles. This feels pretty good. Alright, so what do they have? They're mostly blue, it looks like. They have a 3/3 Menace Ox. Alright, I will play my 3/3 Flying Prowess, which can tap down their stuff pretty well. It's no Shipbreaker Kraken that just taps down stuff for the rest of the game, pretty much, but still pretty good. There's only one card in the graveyard right now, so Treasure Cruise isn't the best right now. Yep. Alright. Never mind, Treasure Cruise is great. Archaeologist, put another 3 in. Do I want a Silk Wrap? Not really. How many cards are in graveyard? 4. I think I decline. And cruise. 2, 3, 4. So I can tap down. That's the scariest. So I'll tap it. Another Kraken. It's great. Flashy Archaeologist doing some work here. Glade Cover Scout. So that could become a 4/1. Or that could be a spell. I think I will take the block. And if they have a spell, then they're good. Otherwise they can just trade, and that's fine. Alright, cool. So I have 6 mana. There's no way I could use 7 mana this turn, so I can use this opportunity to get the Guild Gate in. And honestly, I think we're going to be tapping their stuff just to keep it down and to swing for 4. I could Silk Wrap the Crusader. I think I'm not going to. I think it's probably better Sylvan Primordial. Okay. That's a 6/8 reach. And they're blowing up a swamp, which makes sense. Should have hit a Guild Gate. Hitting the Guild Gate would have been free. Alright, so I could play a 6/6. Or I could Celundi Visions and tap down the Sylvan Primordial. I'm going to get a 6/6 out. And not attack this turn, because that thing has reach. So if I draw a land, I can Monstrosity and completely obliterate all of this. If I don't draw a land, I can still Celundi Visions and do a number on them. Alright, so that's a Butler, which is not a land. I'm going to cast this to tap down the Primordial. And we brick, which is unfortunate. And now we can attack for 10, and they don't have good blocks. Yep. And now we will play a 2/3. 2/3 flyer, just hold the defense down a little bit better. So this is the only one that can realistically attack. Yep, they have conceded. Alright, this deck is cracked. I've just sort of just crushed them every time. We're going to do a couple more and then probably switch to Explorer. There's only so much, or we'll probably switch to some limited format. Alright, this hand kind of sucks. So I'm going to have to mulligan for once, unfortunately. Just like no white mana, no early removal, no like mid-sized creatures. I don't know. Might be keepable, but this is probably better. I'm going to throw back the Kraken, as it is very expensive. Alright, so we are going to lead on Evolving Wilds and get blue, and then the other evolve it, and then probably Swamp Undead Butler. Just to have some sort of a curve. Alright, we drew the island anyway. Alright, so we do have some good hits in there. We could get a Kraken back by chumping with the Butler or something. Felstinger exploiting Sanitarium Skeleton, very cool. Alright, now I've of course just magically hit all of my lands. All of the colors are perfect. I'm going to block a Predation them to keep them from doing anything too scary. Blood Baron of Viscopa. Yeah, absolutely not. You can have your Nantuko Husk and your various aristocrat stuff. I will block just to get a guy out of my graveyard. And it'll probably be a Kraken for late game. I just want to have big scary threats so that if I live long enough, it's very bad for my opponent. Nantuko Husk is a little bit scary, but I can deal. Alright, so I can get the Evolving Wilds down. I have another Plains, I have another Island, so I guess this can be a second Swamp. So I could spend all of my mana on a Treasure Cruise, but I'm kind of a little scared. 1, 2, 3, I need 4. So I'm going to Gurmag Angler just to get a 5/5. So this should hopefully keep them back. Celestial Archon, flying first strike 4/4. It's very scary. I'm going to stay on the defensive. Unfortunately, can't quite get Treasure Cruise out or Shipbreaker Kraken. Alright, just taking 4. It's a lot, but in the short term it's fine. And they have a lot of creatures for the Nantuko Husk, which I do not like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Treasure Cruise is somehow still uncastable. So I'm just going to get a Shipbreaker Kraken. So I have 6 mana. That's 8 to crack. So this turn I will probably Treasure Cruise, and then the turn after that I can Monstrosity the Kraken and solve pretty much all of these problems, hopefully. Another Archon. That's horrifying. So I am very close to dead. But I get to draw 3 cards, so that's nice. I got that going for me. So if they attack with everything, I die, I think? Yep, we'll see if they see it. Alright. Do you see the attack all line? Oh, it looks like maybe they don't. So if I block with 2 things, I take 12. Alright. I think they missed it. Don't want to speak too soon. Yes, they missed it. Alright. So that's encouraging. So now I need to Shipbreaker Kraken, tap down their 4 best things, which is going to be Archon, Archon, Husk, Stinger. Archon, Archon, Husk. That gains protection from the color of your choice. So it has to be that, I guess. So those are all tapped down forever. And I have 2 blockers for the Fell Stinger and the Keening Apparition. Alright. Yep. They got me. Alright, we had a good run. The deck was very cool. Pretty much did everything you could ever want it to. So we are going to switch over to probably quick draft. Yeah, let's run a couple of quick drafts. So I'm going to change the stream title. Alright, cool. Stream title updated. And let's do a quick draft. Hopefully this goes as well as that sealed did. Alright, so rare we have probably not great. And then second rare, because there are 2 rares for some reason, we have a Delirium. If it's Delirium, it's a 3 mana 4/6. And if it's Super Delirium, then it's a huge thing. So that seems pretty good. We have Altanac, which, I mean, is ramp, I guess. But not super exciting. We have a Fork. That's also artifact removal. And let's see here. So this is not spectacular, but can come back a lot. Alright, there's a lot of stuff in this. Alright. I think I guess we can just take... Do we do mill? No, there's no way that I can get enough triggers off of that for mill to be good. I think we just take the giant green creature. It's a rare, and may as well. Alright, so here we have an unsummon room and draw lots of cards room. Here we have black, green, 2/3 reach, enter surveil 2. This could be good. So I could do like a black, green, graveyardy delirium type thing. The question for that would be, how do I get more card types? But I do like my black green in draft. Alright, so we have like a super color specific thing that I'm not in. We have Menace, Aristocrats stuff. I'm not excited about Aristocrats. So that's like a complicated mana rock, which can become a 7/7. So we do need enchantments. So this could be fine. So we need to have enough different types, basically, is the trick. So Bear Trap is like 4 mana, deal 3. It's a removal spell. It's an artifact. This is an enchantment that draws cards. I think when in doubt, you take the colorless removal spell. So this is color fixing and some value on the other side. Okay, that's great. That's exactly what you want in your black-green Delirium deck. Alright, so we need various types. So like an instant wouldn't be terrible. I guess this would be a removal spell, which would be fun. Or we could just take a tap land. I think we just take the tap land in our colors. This is an aura, which, all right, that's pretty good. It's not great, but it's a fun color. It's on color. It's an enchantment. So for delirium purposes, it's good. Terramorphic Expanse can help get lands in the graveyard. You can have another Cracked Skull. This seems very bad. I think we are just going to have a good mana base here. So this is a 3 mana 4/1 that comes back. Seems pretty good to me. And this is probably going to be a cut, but you never know. I guess destroying a room could be a thing. And it's a 3/4 reach, which isn't horrible. This is just color fixing that can be a big guy. I guess we take artifacts and get rid of that, don't that. Alright, so for this one we have, that seems mid. This seems decent. 4 mana 4/4 is never too embarrassing. Reanimation could be fine, but I think, hang on, what's this? If it's tapped, you put the land into your hand. I don't know, I think we take a 4 mana 4/4. Just trust that that's a decent card. Sorcery, get a demon. We probably don't have any demons in here. 6 mana 6/5 with Swamp Cycling, or 3 mana 3/2 that can get us another 2/2. That seems great. Monstrous Emergence is sort of like a removal spell. Or we have Altanach, which is sort of like Ramp. I think we take Altanach, which is sort of like Ramp. And just try to be super grindy. Can't be blocked by Glimmers. Tutor something into the graveyard. Seems kind of mid. This could be great. I think we just have to take removal spells. We're sort of low on those, and we need them. Alright, that seems fantastic for me. It's an artifact. So what is this? Basic land into your hand, or room stuff. That's not exciting. I guess we'll take another kind of mediocre discard spell. And I mean, that seems not great. This seems... I think I do want sorceries in here. Like, there's value in just being a card type for Delirium. We can have a combat trick. Sure, why not? I'm not a huge combat trick fan, but gotta have some. That's a decent top end. Fear of the Dark. It's 5 mana, probably 5 mana Menace Death Touch. Seems pretty good. I don't think I need that many Cracked Skulls. And we're just going to take 2 random cards. So that's obviously not on color. This is a 3 mana 2/2 Menace that can equip. Each player discards a card. If you discarded a card this way, draw a card? I think just more kind of decent removal. Alright, so this would be a 3 mana 4/3, or 3 mana 3/3 with Delirium. That's not especially good. This is removal. And this is a Delirium payoff, kind of. Brood Spinner is, I think, pretty great. Alright, this is a 3 mana ramp spell that makes a big creature later. That seems awesome. And just good staple removal spell. Finally see something like that. And I guess a Mana Rock, because why not? This is a 1 mana 1/1 that I guess can kill 2 toughness creatures in combat. And if we'd have had 3 say its name, that would be very funny. But I think I'm just going to take that guy. And I guess we take that. It's not great. We'll probably cut it. Take another 4 mana 4/4. And a Death Touch creature. And a Death Touch creature. And a blue spell. And a basic forest. Alright, so we're going to need to figure out how to get Delirium, basically. In terms of, we have 3 instants, 3 sorceries, 7 artifacts, 6 enchantments. So basically the plan is going to be like artifact, enchantment, creature, land, with sometimes instants and sorceries stepping in there. So I do have to make a lot of cuts, obviously. So Altanax seems decent. I have a decent amount of self-mill, I think. Not a huge amount, but some. So I should be able to get like a Terramorphic Expanse or something. Drag to the Roots is our payoffs. This seems unexciting. I'm going to cut it. That seems unexciting. Those two seem not great. Actually, what's our curve? Our curve is pretty low. I need to cut some 3s. Defiant Survivors, I guess, can go. Resurrected Cultist seems mid. I definitely don't want 3 of those. And Friendly Teddy seems like it could actively hurt me. And this is super narrow. Although it might stop me from accidentally milling out or something. And it is a sorcery, which I don't have many of, which is something I need to keep in mind. I think it can probably still go. And so, in terms of curve, we have that. Probably stand to cut some 1-drops. Stand to cut some 1-drops and replace it with top end, honestly. But these are like 3/3s, not really 1-drops. I guess I can cut Fear of Lost Teeth. That card's not very good. And instead, I can have a Defiant Survivor in, I guess. Let's try that. Let's try this. I don't know how easy it's going to end up being in practice to get Delirium, but we're going to try. Alright, so we have Brood Spinner and 2 Bear Traps. I guess this is fine. I can flash in a Bear Trap at end of turn. So that's fun. And play a Brood Spinner. I would love to get a land in the graveyard here. Do I need these cards? I don't need that. So I'm going to just cast that spell and get Delirium that way. So they're Dimir. So that can kill that, but it's not really a huge threat. That can't kill that. I'm just going to play out my Mana Rock and pass the turn. So they are definitely doing enchantment enters stuff. Alright. That seems like a good deal to me. Just a clean 2-for-1, and my card wasn't very exciting to begin with. So I don't want to Swamp Cycle that, because it's very close to just being useful. Clammy Prowler. Yep. So I think I'm just going to Bear Trap the Leech. Just you get out of here. And while I have free mana, I'm going to play another Bear Trap. Alright, so that's just a tap land, unfortunately. So I'm just going to pass with Withering Torment and Bear Trap available. Alright, so they can draw their 2 cards. It's not the end of the world. And I can take 2. Again, no big deal. And just another 2/2, which I will Bear Trap that. Alright, so I could ramp here, or I could make a 5/5, or I could just run out a 6/5 ward. I think I'm just going to run out a 6/5 ward. and then probably Moldering Gym next time. Alright, they have Mill. And they are drawing cards. Alright, so I am being milled, which is slightly beneficial for me if I draw my Delirium payoffs, which would be very fun. So neither of those actually do anything at the moment. This can be a 7/7. Do I just, like, do the beatdown? Oh. Yeah, it'll tap it, so instead I'm just going to get a land. And I don't think it matters. And I'm going to attack. So they're taking a lot of damage this turn, and probably a lot of damage next turn. Unless they start chumping. The Mind Skinner? Oh no. I think I have to kill that? Like, that's 10 points of mill, and my mill and life total are already roughly equal. So I think I'm going to kill the Mind Skinner. Yeah, I'm going to kill it now. So they could have attacked with the Prowler to mill me for 2. So I wanted them to mill me for 2 instead of, like, dealing damage for 2. Alright. Give me a 7/7 and attack for a bunch. Have fun chump blocking. So I still have 18 cards in deck and 15 life. I think this is probably gonna be a lock. I don't see how they beat all this. Alright. Is there any way I can get rid of a blocker? Doesn't look like it. So I'm just gonna attack, and they're gonna block with both of their creatures. Yep. And then I'm gonna play a Brood Spinner and an Omnivorous Flytrap. Yep. They can counter that, which is fine because this is better. Yep. Alright. So that we really didn't do Delirium there so much as just like big creature attacks, and they were messing around with Mill, and it did not work out for them. So we're 1 win up. It's always gotta start with a win. So yeah, just like ramping into 6/6s and 6/5s and 7/7s is pretty useful. Alright, so here we have a Bear Trap, a 4/4, and a Mana Rock. Not exciting, but keepable. Definitely keepable. Alright, there's Swamp Go. I'm going to play out my Bear Trap. I'm going to get my colors set up. I would love a nice and slow start to this game. Bear Trap should help that to an extent. Alright. I think I'd play my Survivor. I would love to be able to get a hit with that. I'm not going to block there. I would love to use this Bear Trap to clear out a blocker if possible. Yeah, okay, that's actually great. So I can just attack. We're both going to manifest Dread. And I'll play a 4/4. Yep. Put it right at the Moth. Alright, so that's a very expensive reanimation thing. And a 4/4. Alright, so we're stable on the board. We have some stuff to do. We have an Altenac in hand. Sacrifices a creature of their choice other than the enchanted creature. Alright, that's kind of annoying. Alright, so that is going to need... Oh, they have 2 of them. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. So I'm going to need to bear trap something, I think. I'm going to just make my attacks. And this is when it's dealt damage, destroy it. So if they want to trade a scavenger, that's great. I would love to... Yeah, okay. It's 1 scavenger down. My Defiant Survivor is down, unfortunately. But I gain 2 life. And now I can bear trap. And kill the other scavenger, so no ridiculous scaling stuff will be happening. And I have 6 mana on board, so Altenac comes next turn. Alright. Obviously, going to discard a forest and just hope to draw another one. Fanatic of the Harrowing seems kind of good. Alright, so we did draw another forest. So we're just going to get a 9/9 Trampler. And Cautious Survivor, gaining us life, is pretty... It's not a huge deal, but it is definitely helping. Like, I'm under no real pressure. They're chump blocking, which is definitely wrong. That's got to be incorrect. Like, they're not at nearly a low enough life total where that makes sense. Alright, they did have the murder. At least I draw a card off of it. But that's a shame. Alright. So I can animate the screen and punch for a lot. And Haunted Screen is just kind of great. Like, I've only played 2 games with it, and it's low-key won me the game both times so far. At least this game it's looking like that's going to be the case. Just a mana rock that becomes a 7/7, just unexpectedly. Alright, they're getting back a 5/5, which is still just fine. Give in to violence actually is going to get me a combat trick there. So they have to block the screen. Yep. Or they die to my combat trick. Boom. That was pretty good. Alright. Altenac, not impressive there. Haunted Screen, very impressive. I had a lot of fun there. Alright, we are at 2 wins, which means we're at 200 gems and a pack. So we just need to get like another bunch of wins, and then this can break even. 2 games in and my deck seems sweet. I'm waiting to be extremely disappointed in the future. But so far, so good. This hand is terrible. It's got 3, 5, 7 as the curve. I think we have to mulligan that. This hand is much better. I'm gonna get rid of that because it's by far the worst. By the way, dual lands are pretty great. Alright, so that is a nuisance, as the name suggests. I do not need lands right now, so I surveil. Surveil is a pretty good mechanic. Alright, what do you have? You have a land and a removal spell, it looks like. Just a bounce spell. That's fine. I would love to surveil again. There's Altenac, and I do have lands in the graveyard. So that'll be a next turn thing. So this turn, I play the Survivor. Next turn, I Brood Spinner plus Altenac. So this Survivor, they probably won't be able to live unless they attack pretty aggressively. Alright, so that is fine. Alright, so they are attacking pretty aggressively, which does mean I get my Survivor trigger, and then I get to Manifest Dread next turn, so that'll be fun. Unless they have a bounce spell, which they might. Nope, they are just surveilling 2. So I'm going to have to Withering Torment something eventually. Alright. Attack first, so we can make our decision. And Patchwork Beastie, I guess, is a creature. And we can Brood Spinner. So we have Artifact and Land in there right now. So if we go instant creature, that's Delirium. And I guess we should still Altenac here. Alright, so now I have a 2/3 reach. And a 2/2 Manifest, which should be a 3/3. If I'm counting right, that's land, artifact, instant creature is 4. Alright, so they've made this an 0/2, so they can continue to attack, which is fine. I don't really care that much. So they are holding back their face-down creature, which is interesting. And they're just shuffling that around, which makes sense. Face up at any time for its mana cost. So I could attack with this and then flip it, I guess. I think that's how that works. I'm going to attack with both of them. Alright, so that's fine. I'm going to turn that guy face up. And I'm going to kill their face down card, because it could be something scary. And play another 3/3. And hold up my interaction, which is pretty good at this point. This is a very different kind of game than the first two. Yeah, they can equip that. That's fine. Right. Do I want to kill the nuisance? I think not now. I can take 2 and see if they want to do something more deserving of being killed. Otherwise, I will Withering Torment that. Alright, so that could be a... Yeah, I think that's scarier. And I guess I will run out the bear trap now. Sadly losing a bit of the surprise factor. I think I will mill, because there might be something. Alright. Do I need another land? 6. I have 6 lands, so I could make... Yeah, I think I'm going to use that post-combat, I guess. I think I'm fine with him chumping here. And then post-combat, I'm going to make a 5/5 manifest. So my goal is to just have big creatures. And this is great. So that will be a much bigger creature. It'll be a 7/7. And it should be able to gain me life as well. Which I do kind of need right now, to be honest. Yep, they can hit me for 2. Not a big deal. Hopefully I'll be gaining 2 a turn off of this guy. And post-combat main phase is just a couple more dorks. I think I decline. I'm not entirely sure what the right answer is. It'd be cool if I could like see my deck. So that could become very big, so I will bear trap it pre-combat. So that will die immediately. And then I will attack with my good creatures for quite a bit. They are going to need to block. Yep, those blocks make sense. And now I flip this guy and gain 2 life. So I have a 7/7 and 2 3/3s. Alright, so they are on empty and just flipping a room to manifest dread, I think, is what the other room does. Alright, so they get a 3/3. But I still think I'm in pretty good shape here. Obviously, if the Brood Spinner were real, that would be better. If the Brood Spinner were a real Brood Spinner, I think they'd be in a huge amount of trouble. I think I still win this game I win this game most of the time, I think. So they can shift that to make it a 4/4. I'll mill. That seems fun. Got 2 lands out of the way and draw a 3rd land. I guess I will unlock. Alright, so if I attack with everything, then they can kill one of my beasties, but they have to block with one of their nuisances. No, I think just the single attack is better here. I don't think putting them to 2 makes a huge difference. So I can go back up to 9. Just gaining me life is very convenient. And they concede. Alright. That was a much harder fought game than the first two, but we got there in the end. Just big creatures swinging in for lots of damage. Turns out is pretty good. Alright, we're so far 3-0. Is a good place to be. I would love to just keep on winning. Waiting on an opponent. This is a bit slow. Alright, found one. No. Yes, we did. Alright, cool. Alright. Is that Jorge or George? Alright, this is a lot of removal, which seems pretty good. Final Vengeance not really doing anything here, but Haunted Screen sure is. Alright, so they have a couple of 1/1s. Alright, so that can become a 4/4. And that can be Graveyard Hate, which I will definitely want to get rid of the Graveyard Hate. So, unfortunately, I have nothing this turn. Just have to sit back and watch as my opponent probably attacks me for a fair amount. Next turn I can Bear Trap. And then I start running out of Haunted Screens. Still nothing for that to exile. Alright, I'm going to just play the land and pass. But I am probably going to Bear Trap the Survivor. Probably in combat just to save some life. Life is a resource, which means you shouldn't waste it. Going to 12 versus 14 isn't the end of the world, and they might have like a scary 4-drop or something, so I guess I will wait and see. Just don't want to throw away life for no reason, but also don't want to use my removal spells preemptively. Alright, they didn't do anything. So I unfortunately will just Bear Trap the Survivor. Alright. They're turning it into a Manifest Dread, which is probably fine for me. It's not the best thing ever, but it's also not terrible. Alright, I think the Moldering Gym for a black source. And get a Terramorphic Expanse out of the way. And Final Vengeance has been pretty bad this game. I just have the zero creature control draw, I guess. Friendly Ghost, that's an ETB. So I'm taking 5 this turn, which is definitely concerning. Withering Torment does deal damage to me. Alright, I could get a 5/5 off of that. Or I could get 2 Haunted Screens down. Or I could Cracked Skull and hold up Withering Torment. I think I will Cracked Skull the Friendly Ghost. And just have to take a second one. And now the question is cast Haunted Screen or Withering Torment. And I think the answer is Withering Torment because they have a pump spell in hand, and I pretty much need to blow them out there. Otherwise I literally die. So whatever you pump, I will kill. Yeah, that's probably smart. So I go to 1. And yeah, I mean they have a 2-power flyer. I can't get... yeah. I needed to draw creatures that game for blocking, and I just draw actual, literally 0 creatures all game in my deck, where creature is the most common type, aside from lands. And even then, we weren't so terrible. Like, we had a sort of a chance. Alright. Now we have a creature, we have a bear trap, we have a discard spell. This seems alright. Opponent is on the play, which is unfortunate for me. Always going to keep this. Given to Violence, not the best card in my deck, but could help me, my survivor, get through a combat. And they're doing Say Its Name. And they have 2 Say Its Names already. Which is not... it's a little bit worrying. If they have a bunch of those and an Altanac, then I could be in trouble. Alright. I'm just going to run out the Survivor and hope... I mean, they almost certainly have a removal spell of some sort. But you gotta play into it. Yep, they have a just regular old murder. Alright, so that is a 2/5. That's not hugely threatening. Haunted Screen would put me at 2 mana, which wouldn't be enough to craft Skull. So I will do this first. And they do have the Altanac. And they have a couple removal spells. Alright, so they aren't... if they're going to be getting the Altanac, it's going to be off of the Say Its Names. And I have a fair amount of artifacts and enchantments. And I also have a fair amount of creatures. I think I'll take that. I actually only have 1 creature at the moment. So now Bear Trap will kill this, which is pretty cool. They are ramping. Alright. I don't love to see them ramping because I chose not to take the Altanac. Alright, Withering Torment makes me feel a lot better about that. I'm going to play out my Survivor. So they're up to 6 mana. Which means the Altanac is probably coming next turn. So I could trade my Survivor because of the Cracked Skull. I could trade here. No, they can't make that attack. Yeah, okay. So they did nothing that turn, which is great for me. So I think I take this opportunity to get the screen down. And attack with my 4/4. Wait, is that sorcery? Yeah, okay, that's sorcery. Whew, thought I made a horrible mistake there, but I didn't. And I guess play a Balemerc Leech. Actually, no, this is bad. I shouldn't have done this. Because the only reason this isn't a removal spell right now is because I only had one creature, and now I have two creatures. So yeah, I should have just held. So yeah, now they can do this, which is very good against me. Still, though, these two trade, which is very fun. Right, dealt damage, destroyed it. Come on. There we go. Easy trade. There we go. Alright, so I have no creatures, so Monstrous Emergence does nothing. I currently have 0 castable spells. So we're going to need to find something to do. I mean, obviously I can Withering Torment and Altenac. So yeah, they're going to spend all of their mana on the Altenac. I'm going to Withering Torment it. Yep. Goodbye. You can draw a card. Alright, I will play a tap land. And just another game of not much going on. Alright, I can easily discard a card. I will discard Final Vengeance, because it requires me to have a creature, which I'm short on, and it also gets rid of my creature, which I don't want to do. So they put a Cultist in the bin. That's pretty efficient. I can just Bear Trap their Fanatic. I'm pretty sure I have like a lot of Delirium cards. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill it in response, I guess. Alright. I have a Cautious Survivor now. So I now have a creature on the board. That's very exciting for me. I no longer have a creature on the board, so that's not very exciting for me. And they're bringing a Cultist back. That can be as an instant, I believe. So I will do that at their end of turn. Enduring Vitality, which turns their creatures into mana dorks, which is not the problem here. Alright, so I can make this guy a tapped 7/7. And start swinging for big chunks. Alright. And I think I will kill their Cultist, because I do not really want to take 7 next turn. Alright. So they've made a 5/5, which is hopefully not more than a 5/5. So they discarded a land, which means it could theoretically be nothing. Alright, that doesn't give haste. This is the second time they've done that, and they should really be putting it on the other one. Alright, so this is great for me. I can just attack in, and they'll think, aha, you fool, and they'll double block. Yep. This is how you use give into violence, folks. I kill their board, I gain a bunch of life, and I play a forest. So I'm back up to 18. They have one card in hand, and it's a land. Alright, as far as lands to draw, Terramorphic Expanse is better than most, because at least it thins some. And they annoyingly will live at 1 if they don't have anything. But we're just going to have to deal with that. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. They're going to get Altenac back. So that's extraordinarily bad. I need a kill spell. Brood Spinner is not a kill spell, but it can help me find one. Okay, so that's a 9 power trampler. I think I will surveil both of those to the graveyard. But if they attack, I live and attack back for lethal. So what does the other side of this do? Keys to the house. Alright, so they can get a basic land or unlock something for cheaper. So that could make them a bunch of 2/2s, which is scary. The Brood Spinner could get me 6 1/1s with flying, which would be very cool. They're bringing another creature back, which is their 2/5 guy. Alright, you can have your 2/5 guy. They're attacking with Altenac. So I could double block, and they'd almost I could double block, and either I get 6 1/1s or I get a 7/7, and their Altenac is dead. That seems good for me. Alright, so I have 9 mana, which is not enough to Weight Room plus Brood Spinner. But it is enough to Moldering Gym plus Brood Spinner, so I will do that. I will get another card out of my deck, and this is at any time, so I will pass the turn and make 6 1/1s on their end step. Alright, they have a Brood Spinner of their own, which is quite good, but is also quite slow. So is that going to be attacking? Looks like not. So I will make my 1/1s. And I will unlock the door. I'll take that. So if I attack with my 6 guys, they take 5, go to 3, and then almost certainly die next turn? No, but they can make their own 6 guys, which is probably fine by me. I think I'm fine just completely trading off Brood Spinners as if neither of them ever existed. And then I'm going to flip Fear of the Dark and swing for a bunch. Okay, no, they are instead going to be taking 5. Alright, so now what do? They didn't crack the Brood Spinner in the end step either. They are just fully on reanimating Valgavoth. Or what's his name? Altenac, yeah. So that, I think they're... Right, so that gains lifelink, which is why they aren't dead. But they have to chump attack with it? So yeah, in order for them to not instantly die, I think they have to chump attack with the Bloodsucker to gain 4. And even then, they're in serious trouble because this is a menace creature. Yeah, I will take that block. So they're up to 7. I have an 8/8. They have no glimmers, right? Neither of those are glimmers. Alright. We attack. So this will let me kill... This has menace. They can't block like that. So they're going to go to 2 and lose their Brood Spinner and their Altenac. Yep. So they have nothing. They're at 2. I have 5 1/1s and a 3/3. Good luck. Alright, and they just drew a land. Yep. Alright, that was an extraordinarily grindy game, but we got there with the help of some insecty boys. And also I think our opponent punted like twice on their lifelink enchantment, which certainly didn't hurt. Or lifelink combat trick, rather. Alright, we're gonna keep going. We're up to 4-1. Pretty good so far. Alright, this hand is great. Just a good creature curve. Brood Spinner into get a ramp spell, into Survivor, into something probably. I'll lead on a forest. Ooh, a fly trap even. That's pretty good. Uh-huh. So, I think for the sake of Delirium, those both go away, and the Terramorphic Expanse is awkward because it's tapped. Now, I might regret throwing away that land. No, I didn't. Alright, so we are not at Delirium yet. But it shouldn't be too hard for us to get there. I'll grab another forest. Alright, so that's an attacky thing. I'm just gonna do a little bit of chip damage to them. This might be wrong, but I'm not sure. If they can get like a bunch of tokens onto the board here, I'll be pretty sad. Sheltered by ghosts. Alright. That's not good for me. And that's Ward 2. So I could Withering Torment it, but there's no real reason to do so immediately. I will just run out another Brood Spinner and then try to get Delirium for my Fly Trap. Yes. I don't need either of those. So now I can run out the Fly Trap and distribute 2 1/1 counters. think so the question is a 4/6 or 2/3 power. I think spreading them out like this is going to be better because the Brood Spinner has reach. So if they don't have anything else, I can stop the orphans from attacking. Alright, so they do have something else, which means this is going to be a 5/3 if they attack. Oh no, that's just 1/1/1, so it's going to be a 4/2. So yeah, they can't make that attack, which means I can run out Cautious Survivor and Patchwork Beastie. And I guess these are both pretty good attacks, right? Oh, that's enters or attacks? Alright, that's crazy then. Yeah, I don't mind if I do. I thought that was just enters. We're going to make our guys even bigger, so now they can't even trade with the Brood Spinner. So I did miss a land drop, I think. Or, I'm not sure. I think I did. But the fact that I got to attack with the Fly Trap is pretty good. Yeah, that's understandable. So now it has Ward 2 twice, which is quite unfortunate. And it's going to be quite big. So I would love to kill the orphans. It has lifelink. Alright. Just going to mill that. Alright, so Given to Violence is quite good. And I'm just going to attack with everything and see what they do. Unfortunately, missing my 6th land drop is pretty bad. So they're just going to take 7. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to gain 2 and pass the turn. I can't Withering Torment. Although I could Withering Torment just the Sheltered by Ghosts. Okay, yeah, that's actually sick. I'm going to do that. I can Withering Torment because that's creature or enchantment. So I can take out their Sheltered by Ghosts, get my Fly Trap back, and then block. So let's see if I can target this. This is going to be miserable to target, but all right, cool. There's a pop-up. So I'm going to get rid of that one. The Sheltered by Ghosts itself doesn't have ward. So my Fly Trap comes back. I'm going to put a counter on it and a counter on the Survivor. Yeah, that is devastating. Enough to earn a concession. Fly Trap is strong, it turns out. I'm up to 5 wins. So I'm up pretty good. 650 gems in a pack. And I could go all the way. I could absolutely go all the way with this. Just need to win 1 or 2 more games and not lose 1 or 2 more games. Alright, so this opponent, we have Brood Spinner, we have Beastie. This hand is fine. We're going to need to get some lands. Which could be a problem. Altenac is not the most reliable ramp spell in situations like these. They're red-white. So I'm going to run out the Brood Spinner. Alright, so here's the question. Do I want to make lands naturally for the next 2 turns, or do I want to Altanac ramp? I think the answer is naturally, because I have a Haunted Screen to do next turn. Alright, Defiant Survivor. Yep. Alright, so I can run out the Haunted Screen and the Beastie. And no attacks. This is pretty good for me. Being able to use your Mana Rocks the turn they come down is quite good. Alright, so they are attacking out. So this can't attack or block. So I'll just take the free value, and they can get their extra 2/2 off of the Survivor. And they have Kona. I would like to draw my... Oh, I thought wrong there, and I accidentally milled my 4th land instead of drawing it. But that's fine, because I can Haunted Screen, discard Altanac to get it back. Alright, I don't think that was a very efficient play, but it was very cool. Alright, so now the question is, do I trade the Brood Spinner for the Survivor? And I think the answer to that is yes. It's probably better than a face-down card, which could become something big and scary. Alright, they are monstrous emerging. That's not very good. Alright. Now I'm in a lot of trouble, and they get to... Oh no, that is putting a permanent onto the battlefield. Ruh-roh. So what scary permanents do you have? A chainsaw. Alright, that looks like it would have been bad, but I was kind of relying on this final vengeance to do something. So I'm officially in a lot of trouble. Yeah. So I can Bear Trap the Coma. Still take like 8. I only have Artifact and Creature in the graveyard. So Drag to the Roots isn't going to get discounted. So yeah, I unfortunately just got run over here. Their start was quite quick, and mine was pretty slow. Alright. I would love to get another win, or even 2. This hand is very slow. It doesn't do anything until turn 3. I think I have to mulligan. This hand is much better. Although I don't have black mana. I'm probably going to find some at some point. I'll get rid of that because it's probably the worst card in my deck. Lead on a Beastie. Get that Delirium churning. And also I can Monstrous Emergence something particularly big. So I'm obviously going to mill. Delirium up. So yeah, I think I will choose a creature I control Wait, no, don't target that. Choose that creature. And one step closer to Delirium. They're going to Forest Cycle. I will probably Swamp Cycle. I'll probably Swamp Cycle at some point anyway. No, my Fly Trap. Probably the best card in my deck, but whatever. Now it's just Delirium food. Do I have some ways of getting stuff back? I can't remember if I have any graveyard recursion in this. I don't think so. Alright, they're ramping. I would love to spike an instant or an artifact or something into the graveyard. Alright. So I am just going to attack for 3 and get my Manifest. Just give me a Cautious Survivor. And I will run out the Haunted screen. Also, Patchwork Beastie is now online. Because the Bear Trap went in to the graveyard. There's their own Cautious Survivor. I think I'll keep milling. Alright, Cracked Skull is great here. So I can crack that guy's skull. Look at your hand. What do you have? 5/4 Manifest Dread when it dies. A 2/4 that buffs stuff. A Fork. A Mythic that is very difficult to kill and can overrun. Or just like a 2/1. I think I take Tyvar. I just don't want them doing that. So that will die. That will trade with anything because its skull is cracked. So that's probably wrong. They probably should have killed my Defiant Survivor. To second main, and I get just a generic 2/2, which is still fine by me. Alright, they're running out their 5/4. Alright, so this can flip into a 4/4. Neither of those can do anything interesting. I have 6 mana, so I could just play a 6/5 ward. I think I attack with this guy and take the trade if they offer it, which they don't. So, right, I have to go to main. And play my 6/5 out. So none of those are hugely good. That is 2/1, which does mildly annoying things, but nothing that is really going to make a huge difference, I think. So now, I think I swing out, and I think the pressure is just going to be too much for them, and they might accidentally die. They might accidentally die because this is actually a 4/4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I mean, they're not going to accidentally die, but I'll let them take 7, and then play out my Fear of the Dark. Alright, they had a combat trick, which is fine. I'm still just going to hit them for 7. So that now they're at 3. I don't think there's a need to flip that. I'm not under life total pressure. Much rather just get Brood guy and play out this one. Alright. So this can flip to a 2-3 reach at any point. And might be fine. Alright, so they're going to give something first strike. But I don't really care, because I'm the attacker. They have to stay on defense. Do I flip this? I think so. It doesn't really cost me anything. Alright, and they concede. Yep. That's a reasonable concession. And we hit silver and limited. Alright. We got one more game. Either we win and become a legend, or we lose and are still run pretty well. So yeah, this is the last game of the event. Just gotta make this a good one. Currently waiting. Currently waiting. Alright, found an opponent. And we are in. Opponent's name is mashing on the keyboard. Alright, we have 2 lands, which is not a lot. We have a beastie. If we hit a 3rd land, we get a haunted screen, and we're good to go. We have 2 removal spells. This hand seems perfectly acceptable. Of course, opponent is on the play. Run out my beastie on turn 1 and start the milling. Oop, there's a land. Alright, we got a fly trap. And pass. I have Final Vengeance if I really need something to die, but I'd rather not use that. Alright, and I can run out of Bear Trap. And mill another card, which was a 5-drop. Okay, well, we have missed on lands again. We can Surveil to help with that. Yes, absolutely, just keep 2 lands on top. We already have 1 for Delirium purposes, so we're not losing anything. And now we at least have a blocker for the Fear of Lost Teeth, so that's nice. And we don't have an artifact in the bin, so we can get Delirium. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. We're going to take our lands. Thank you very much. And I think we Omnivorous Flytrap. And right. Didn't have Delirium, so I didn't get anything there. But I will get attack triggers off of it, because I have instants and such. When it dies, exile, yeah, okay. Whatever. That is Menace? Why couldn't I block that? Am I dumb? I don't know. That's kind of confusing. But at any rate, I think we bear trap that just for artifact. So we have delirium now. And now our attackers are on. And we swing for 7. So what now, black-red deck? A 2-3. Understandable. I ended up drawing a forest anyway. Alright, so I could attack for 9 here. I could kill that and guarantee the 9. That's destroy non-land permanent, which I think is valuable enough to keep. Just spread out the counters in case something happens like a murder. They're down to 5. And I think Cautious Survivor. So the Haunted Screen would let me hold up drag to the roots at instant speed. But I think just having more creatures that could potentially deal lethal damage is going to be better. Alright, that's fine. They are not the beatdown right now. Alright, so I think they're dead. I think they're dead to the drag to the roots. I'll mill a card just for fun. So, destroy target non-land permanent. And attack with 3 lethal attackers. Good game. Yep, that was clean. Alright, and there we have it. A nice, clean 7 and 2, 950 gems and 2 packs right there. Alright. So it's 4:44. I don't really have time for another draft, but it's also like 15 minutes before I intended to end the stream. So I guess as a treat, I will play a game or two of Explorer with Is It Phoenix. Probably just going to play one. Alright. So we got our first 7 and 2 draft win, which is very cool. Extremely happy about that. Now let's just do a game or two of Phoenix. I think we mulligan this. Alright. 1 land, 2 cantrips. I think this is fine. I'd rather not be on the play. But we do find our second land, and with Artist's Talent, we should be good to go. Alright, we are playing against Mono Red. So the struggle here is we just need to not die. We just need to live. Yep. Monstrous Rage on the Heartfire hero is a lot of damage. I think we bounce. That doesn't have haste, right? Yeah, so I think we bounce the Heartfire Hero. So it's not dying. Alright, cool. And then while they're tapped out and not able to do any funny business, kill that. And I just realized we missed a land drop. I should have gotten rid of the opt there to search for a land. I just wasn't thinking. Burning Tree Emissary. Into Bushwhacker. Alright, so this is a different red build than I'm used to, but it's going to beat me anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely just going to lose here. Even if I get a burn spell at this point, it's much too late. I have 7 cards in bins, so I can keep the Treasure Cruise now. Have to bottom the Phoenix to try to draw a Fiery Impulse, pretty much. Gotta get rid of the Heartfire Hero. So in theory, we're at 5 and only taking 4. But literally like anything. Yep, that'll do it. Red aggressive decks. Anger of the Gods seems better against them than normal. Fiery Impulse is good against them. Annul is bad. Spell Pierce is bad. They're creature focused more so than your average red deck. And anything else in the sideboard that I really want? No, we're just gonna run it like this. And hope to just control them out. I can't believe they'd run a Fibblethip avatar with a red deck. Fibblethip is for decks that just draw a bunch of cards and do nothing for 5 turns. Alright, we lead on an untapped land that we can use without costing us life. Alright, they are just land go, which is fantastic news for me. I would love to go land go against a red aggressive deck. Alright, Magebane Lizard, so I am going to try to figure out, I need like a lightning axe or something to deal with that. Alright, so I do need to sleight of hand. Just taking 1 off of this won't be a game breaker, but I don't like this. This is bad, but I need to find an answer for the lizard. I guess double Fiery Impulse technically answers the lizard next turn, so I will keep it. And it's also pretty good against other stuff, which they are very likely to do. Oh, a second lizard. That's terrible. So I can get rid of 1 lizard by taking a huge amount of damage. Yeah, this is... Why does the red aggressive deck have sideboard cards? It's not fair. Alright, I'll take 4 off of your stupid lizards. Alright, we got rid of 1 lizard. There is still a lizard, and we still need to lava axe that. Nope, we're getting burst lightninged, and we're super dead. They even have a Den of the Bugbear. So how do you want to kill me, opponent? You have 4 cards in hand. I'm sure you've got tons of options. played a 3/2 and then the Bushwhacker. Yep, that'll do it. Yeah, so the double Magebane Lizard Reckless Bushwhacker deck is pretty good against the durdle around casting a bunch of spells deck, it turns out. Probably unsurprising. We're going to run another one and try to end on a win. Alright, Zero Lander. Easy mulligan there, Yorion. So that's fun. This is great. So the Yorion deck, I think we put the Phoenix away and trust that we'll just get to those eventually at some point. Lead on the island, so I don't have to make a decision. Waste not. Alright, that's horrible. Like, how does my deck with Artist Talent Lightning Axe ever beat a Waste Not? We're gonna have to figure out. So, yeah, this is a nightmare. I'm gonna get rid of the second Artist Talent, I guess, and they can just draw 2 cards. So they have infinite value, so we're just going to have to beat their infinite value with our finite value. Seems doable. Alright, Picklock Prankster in their end step. Oh, Liliana of the Veil.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it. Don't overthink things.
I think we get rid of Lightning Axe. They don't seem to be a creature-heavy deck. I mean, they're probably going to play a Sheoldred and make me feel foolish. But... And the Thoughtseize. I mean, they have to take Treasure Cruise, right? Yep. Which means they draw another 2 cards. Alright. Well, at least they probably can't use 4 black mana at instant speed, so I can do that. And I will pick up a new Treasure Cruise. Alright, it looks like they can use 4 black mana at instant speed. Alright, Cling to Dust to Treasure Cruise, not the end of the world. Alright. And I will use my second Treasure Cruise that I conveniently have to draw 3 cards. And so the good news is their deck can sometimes struggle to like actually accomplish anything. Like they can discard your hand and then you draw out of it and then they lose. So that's the plan. I don't like drawing all of my creature removal. And the Prankster is just going to die to Liliana, but that keeps it away from... Okay, Doom Foretold. Yep, that makes sense.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Doom Foretold makes a lot of sense. Maybe I could... Oh, yeah, they're a Yorion deck. So I probably can't mill them out. Yeah, take the Sleight of Hand, which I kind of needed. I guess I get rid of the Artist's Talent so I can keep the Picklock Prankster and hit the Liliana to just keep it away from ultimating for a bit. I did draw a Consider. Do not need an Opt. Alright, a Phoenix is something. Yep. A Phoenix is something that I can use to pressure them. So yeah, we are basically just hoping to... I guess we can give them a zombie. We're going to have to do that at some point. 2 zombies, rather. I'll get rid of the lightning axe because I'm low on cards, and discarding cards seems bad. Alright, so my deck is very bad at top decking, but we're going to have to try to get our Phoenix back. And hopefully they've forgotten about the Cling to Dust. But I wasn't paying attention. I should have cast that, obviously. Killed a zombie with it. Yep, there goes my last permanent. I will Sleight of Hand for a Prophecydetic Memory, and then I can't cast it because I need to wait out this Doom Foretold. This is just brutal. I love opponent's deck, by the way. Like, I wish I were on their side of this matchup, but it's super cool. Yep, there goes my props. Another Hopeless Nightmare. This one does nothing, but sacks Doom Foretold, which won't happen. So yeah, that was just like, there was no real point to them doing that. And I have died. Alright. So they, on top of all that nonsense, they probably have Graveyard Hate. So I'm going to take in the Negates and the Annuls. The Iconoclast and the Crackling Drakes. Fire Impulse out, Lightning Axe out, Torch the Tower out. Prismari Command is... I don't want to be discarding cards against them. I guess Torch the Tower can, like, maybe kill a Liliana or something. And Brazen Borrower can do something at some point and sit in exile where they can't discard it. Yeah, I'm not expecting to win 2 games in this matchup. Alright, this hand is fine. I've got Artist Talent, and I've got cantrips, and I got a Treasure Cruise. Pretty much every hand with this deck looks like this. You just gotta keep them. I'll grab a Negate. Alright, so I think I play Drago and try to catch, like, their key thing. Like, yes, I can negate a Bandit's Talent, and that hurts them a ton. They are Yori on deck, so they are slightly less likely than normal to just, like, naturally draw into stuff. And I'm going to play out a Prophecydetic Memory. Alright, so now I hold up Opt Torch the Tower. Alright, they have a second Bandit's Talent. So I can discard... Torch the Tower is probably the worst card. It was, like, the one that was closest to me cutting it, so I'll just get rid of it. So, Artist Talent. So this doesn't actually care when I discard. That Waste Not does. I was hoping they wouldn't have a Waste Not, and I would be able to Artist Talent for free, but that's not happening. I'm going to play a tap land and level up my Artist Talent. I guess I Spell Pierce that, because it means I'm not technically discarding. I don't want to give them mana in their main phase. Alright. 5 cards in graveyard. It means Treasure Cruise isn't super great, but it is discounted, so I will pay 2 for it, I think. And not discard the Phoenix. I'm just going to hard cast the Phoenix. Alright, so we are on Operation Just Do Things the Normal Way with props and a 6 power Hasty Attacker. So the question is, what removal do they have? Can they kill a Phoenix? Can they permanently kill a Phoenix? The Null is a great draw. I'm just going to swing for 6. Sheoldred's Edict. Nothing I can do about that. I guess I level up Artist Talent again, because I have the mana for it. They're leveling that up, so, yep. One or fewer stuff. I'm going to go to my turn, and... Alright, step 1 is put the Silly Waste Knot back in hand, and don't discard anything. And now I can cantrip, but I want to cast 3 spells, and I also want an annul, so I'm going to keep all of that. Consider is better than opt. Again, I just want cantrips. I don't need that many cantrips, though. Double annul probably wins me this matchup. Like, they are super dependent on their enchantments, and I have 2 annuls for them. So I get the Phoenix back, and I can attack again. So yeah, they are not going to like the cards in my hand. No Waste Not for you. I like these cards. I'm going to Picklock Prankster at end step. So if this bricks, technically Bandit's Talent will trigger, but it's not going to brick. I'll go to my turn, and... What are they doing? Discarding to hand size. That's fantastic. And I would consider... So without a Waste Not in hand, like, they're pretty much donezo. Yep. They see the second Phoenix and concede. Alright. I am happy with my boarding. So now we're going to game 3. They are on the play. And we're just going to have to try to counter their stuff. Alright, so this is Third Path Iconoclast. Which is not the most exciting of starts. But it's fine. It's perfectly acceptable. They have a Waste Knot. I have an Iconoclast. And we're going to try to run them over. They're just adding Yorion to hand on turn 3. Well, I'm not going to complain about that, that's for sure. I'm going to cast some non-creature spells, get some 1/1s. And attack. And now I can Flood Maw their Waste Knot at end of turn and try to do crazy stuff next turn. Rankle's Prank. Discards 2 cards, sacrifices 2 creatures. Alright, sorry opponent, but this is actually perfect for me. I'm going to get another creature, thank you very much. And I will sacrifice my 2 1/1s and discard 2 lands. Alright. And they got rid of Yorion and a Hostile Investigator. Meanwhile, I still have my Iconoclast. Alright, let's see. So I don't have a prop, so there's no real incentive to just draw for no reason. I'm just going to cast some non-creature spells and get some 1/1s. I would like a land. Alright, so I'm not really like digging as hard for a Phoenix as I could be. But I am getting a huge board, which should be fine anyway. Alright, and there's the Phoenix. It is in hand. And I'm sure they have... Alright. Extinction Event then is much better than Extinction Event in a turn. So that was a whole sweeper just to get rid of one guy. And now we get the Phoenix into the bin. And I do need another 1-mana cantrip, which could theoretically be a problem here, but it's kind of unlikely. Yep, there's a 1-mana cantrip for you. Treasure Cruise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm even drawing a bunch of cards, which is setting their discard back a lot. I'm going to keep the Spell Pierce and hold it up. There's no real need to cast another Treasure Cruise at this exact moment. It's much better to hold up Spell Pierce. Alright. Sheoldred is very scary. Sheoldred is very scary. Uh-huh. That's a true statement. I don't really have much removal for that. So I am just going to go on the removal plan of play a Crackling Drake and try to kill you before you can do anything. So I have 10 power on board, you're at 12. I just need to get 2 things into the bin. I will Spell Pierce that. And this doesn't kill them, because that would be drawing a card, so they would gain more life. Or maybe? I don't know. Do I trade with the Sheoldred, or do I try to just kill them? I think I try to just kill them. Alright, so if I Treasure Cruise here, that's drawing 3. I would go to 2, and then Crackling Drake would have 1 more power and they would die? I'm going to feel real silly if the math is wrong. I'm going to feel very silly if the math is wrong. Alright. They have agreed that my math was right, and we win. Alright. Yep, that was just a fun, quick couple of matches. And I'm going to end the stream there. We had a good time. If anyone is watching, make sure to follow. I have a YouTube, so you can watch VODs over there, I guess. And yep, that'll be that.